You know, there's a saying that life really begins at 60. But let's be honest, sometimes it doesn't feel that way, does it? Maybe you've noticed your energy isn't what it used to be, or you wake up with a few more aches than you remember having a decade ago. And if you've ever caught yourself thinking, is this just what getting older feels like? Well, I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be. The truth is, aging is inevitable. But how we age, that's something we can influence. In fact, science shows us that small, consistent habits can add not just years to your life, but life to your years. Imagine feeling stronger, sharper, and more vibrant a decade from now than you do today. It's not a fantasy. It's entirely possible. So today, we're going to talk about 5 simple science-backed habits that can help you do exactly that. These aren't drastic changes or complicated routines, just practical everyday choices that add up to big results over time. And the best part? You can start today. Now, let's begin with the first habit, one that might surprise you with how powerful it really is. Habit number 1, move, but make it enjoyable. If you've ever rolled your eyes at the idea of exercise, I get it. The word alone can bring to mind sweaty gyms, complicated workouts, or that nagging feeling that you should be doing more, but just don't enjoy it. But here's the good news. Moving your body doesn't have to mean running marathons or lifting heavy weights. In fact, some of the most beneficial activities are the simplest. Research shows that regular movement, whether it's walking, dancing, gardening, or even just stretching, can lower your risk of heart disease, improve your mood, and even help keep your mind sharp. The key? Find something you actually like doing, because if you enjoy it, you'll stick with it. Take walking, for example. A brisk 30-minute walk most days can work wonders for your heart, your joints, and even your sleep. But if the idea of a brisk walk sounds exhausting, start slower. A leisurely stroll in the park still counts. The point is to keep your body in motion, not to push yourself to the point of misery. And if walking isn't your thing, that's okay. Maybe it's swimming, tai chi, or even just putting on your favorite music and swaying in the living room. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. So think about what feels good to you and make that your movement of choice. Habit number 2, feed your body and your joy. Now, let's talk about food, because what we eat plays a huge role in how we feel, especially as we get older. But before you groan and think, here comes another lecture about kale, let me reassure you. Healthy eating after 60 doesn't have to mean bland salads or giving up everything you love. Science tells us that a balanced diet rich in whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats can reduce inflammation, support brain health, and even boost your energy levels. But here's the thing. Food should also be enjoyable. There's no one-size-fits-all approach, and the best diet is the one you can stick to without feeling deprived. So instead of focusing on strict rules, try this. Add before you subtract. Start by incorporating more nutrient-packed foods into your meals, like a handful of berries with breakfast, some leafy greens at lunch, or a handful of nuts as a snack. Over time, these small additions crowd out the less nutritious choices naturally, without leaving you feeling hungry or restricted. And here's a pro tip. Make meals social whenever possible. Sharing food with friends or family isn't just good for your heart, it's good for your soul. So, invite a neighbor over for coffee, cook a simple meal with your grandkids, or even join a community potluck. Because eating well isn't just about what's on your plate, it's about the joy that comes with it. Now, these first 2 habits, moving in ways you love and nourishing your body with joy, are a fantastic foundation. But there's another key piece of the puzzle. one that affects everything from your mood to your memory. And that's where we'll pick things up next. You know, it's funny. Sometimes the things that make the biggest difference in how we feel aren't the ones we immediately think of. Sure, moving and eating well are important, but there's something else that's just as powerful, yet often overlooked. And that brings us to our next habit. Habit number 3. Protect your sleep like it's gold. If you've ever spent a night tossing and turning, only to drag yourself through the next day feeling foggy and irritable, you already know how precious good sleep is. But here's what might surprise you. As we get older, quality sleep doesn't just affect our energy, it plays a critical role in our long-term health. Poor sleep has been linked to everything from memory problems to a weaker immune system, while solid, restful sleep can help repair your body, sharpen your mind, and even lift your mood. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Easier said than done. Maybe you wake up too early, or find yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. But the good news is, small tweaks can make a big difference. Start by setting a consistent bedtime, even on weekends. Our bodies love routine, and going to bed around the same time each night helps regulate your internal clock. Next, think about your evening wind down. Bright screens, like TVs, phones, or tablets, trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime, making it harder to fall asleep. Try turning them off at least an hour before bed and replacing them with something calming, like reading a book, a real one, not an e-reader. Listening to soft music, or even just sitting quietly with a cup of caffeine-free tea. And if you still find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, don't stress. Instead of lying there frustrated, get up for a few minutes. Sit in a chair, keep the lights dim, and do something quiet until you feel sleepy again. Fighting it only makes it worse. Sometimes, the best way to fall back asleep is to stop trying so hard. Habit number 4. Stay connected. Your brain will thank you. Here's something you might not expect. Loneliness can be just as harmful to your health as smoking. It's true. Research shows that strong social connections don't just make life more enjoyable. They can actually help you live longer. But here's the catch. As we age, staying connected can sometimes take a little more effort. Kids move away, friends retire or relocate, and suddenly, it's easy to find yourself feeling isolated without even realizing it. The solution? Be intentional about nurturing relationships. And no, this doesn't mean you need a packed social calendar or a huge circle of friends. Even 1 or 2 meaningful connections can make all the difference. Reach out to an old friend for a phone call. Join a local club, whether it's a book group, a gardening club, or even a weekly card game at the community center. If getting out is tough, technology can help. Video calls with family or online groups centered around your interests can keep you engaged without ever leaving home. And don't underestimate the power of small interactions. Chatting with your neighbor, smiling at the cashier, or even just making eye contact and saying hello to someone on your walk can lift your spirits more than you'd think. Connection doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent. Now, these 4 habits, moving, eating well, sleeping soundly, and staying connected, are already a fantastic recipe for a healthier, happier life after 60. But there's one more piece to the puzzle, and it's one that ties everything together. So let's talk about the final habit, the one that might just be the secret to making all the others stick. You know, when we talk about adding years to our lives, it's easy to focus only on the physical, what we eat, how we move, the hours we sleep. But there's one habit that shapes everything else, yet rarely gets the attention it deserves. And that brings us to our final, most powerful habit of all. Habit number 5. Cultivate a purpose that excites you. Think back to a time when you woke up feeling truly energized. Maybe it was a project you loved, a goal you were working toward, or even just a day filled with small things that brought you joy. That feeling, that's the magic of purpose. And science shows it's not just a nice bonus in life. It's a game changer for longevity. Studies have found that people with a strong sense of purpose tend to live longer, recover from illness faster, and even maintain sharper minds as they age. Now, purpose might sound like a big, intimidating word, but it doesn't have to be. It's not about changing the world or achieving some grand milestone. It's simply about having reasons to get up in the morning that light you up inside. Maybe it's tending to your garden and sharing the harvest with neighbors. Maybe it's learning something new, like painting or playing an instrument. Maybe it's volunteering, reading to kids at the library, mentoring younger folks in your field, or even just being the person who always checks in on friends who live alone. The key is to find what resonates with you. Because when you have something that makes you feel needed, curious, or engaged, all those other healthy habits become easier. You'll want to move your body so you can keep doing what you love. You'll choose nourishing foods to fuel your energy. You'll prioritize sleep so you're ready for the day ahead. Purpose isn't just the cherry on top. It's the glue that holds everything together, bringing it all home. So let's take a step back and look at the full picture. We've talked about moving in ways that bring you joy, feeding your body and your happiness, protecting your sleep like the treasure it is, nurturing connections that warm your heart, and finding a purpose that makes each day meaningful. None of these habits require a complete life overhaul, just small intentional choices that add up over time. And here's the most important thing to remember. You don't have to do this perfectly. Miss a walk? Forget to eat your veggies today? Had a sleepless night? That's okay. This isn't about being flawless. It's about showing up for yourself, again and again, in ways that feel sustainable and kind. So, start small. Pick one habit that speaks to you and build from there. Maybe today, you'll call an old friend you've been meaning to reconnect with. Maybe tomorrow, you'll try a new recipe or take a different route on your walk to keep things interesting. The little things are the big things, and if you've already started making some of these changes, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below and share what's working for you. Your story might inspire someone else to take their first step too. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tips on living your best life at any age. Remember, growing older isn't about slowing down. It's about savoring the journey and making every year count. Here's to your health, your happiness, and the wonderful years ahead. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.